I think, for me, the times we live in are sort of a choose your own adventure of mental illness.
Non-transgender, non-binary, I don't want to be searched by a man. Whoa, bro. I'm transgender, non-binary, and I don't want to be searched by a man.
Choose your own adventure of mental illness.
Well, after a few minor felonies and a pinch of grand larceny, Ezra Miller's Flash movie trailer has launched. I guess Warner Brothers figured everyone would have forgotten all of Ezra's shenanigans by now, because the average person has the memory span of a goldfish.
How many different moons does the Earth have?
Four.
From what I gather watching the trailer is that this is the DCEU's Flashpoint. This is where James Gunn can do what DC has done more times than I can count. Use a major event to reboot everything and still screw it up. This may be why they left Captain Crunch on the bill. So far, the trailer feels like your usual Hollywood reimagining of a good story that they'll most likely bastardize. My favorite.
How does it feel to have lived long enough to see all of your favorite franchises go down in flames?
Feels great.
Superhero movies are now the equivalent of someone coming into your bedroom and farting on your pillow and giving you pink eye, and then telling you that you don't have superhero fatigue, I mean pink eye. Instead of Thomas Wayne, we get nostalgia bait, Michael Keaton's Batman.
Batman 1989, remember that? Tim Burton, remember him? The Nightmare Before Christmas. Good stuff. Wrong movie.
You see, TV audiences don't want anything original. They want to see the same thing they've seen 1,000 times before.
What you talking about, Fry?
Point being, Michael Keaton may be carrying this film, which could technically work and keep it from flopping if it's done correctly. But on the other hand, it's a clear sign of the trend in Hollywood where nothing can stand on its own without leaning heavily on something that's come before. But it worked for Spider-Man No Way Home, so copy that. I mean, seriously, it's like the blockbuster films of geriatrics. Harrison Ford is Indiana Jones again? Indiana Jones and the last struggle with nursing home security. Instead of Cavill's Superman, where he would have been a prisoner his entire life and be emaciated, which would have been a lot of CGI, you get his cousin, Carol Zor-El. Except she doesn't look anything like her. The short black hair is an odd choice. If she had the trademark blonde hair and it was short, then you could make the connection with Power Girl, which would have made way more sense. I totally forgot, the Supergirl movie was canceled right after Batgirl. Could you imagine how bad those movies were? If Velma got released, but they put the kill on both of these? Not even Michael Keaton's Batman could keep these films afloat, apparently.
I'm Batman.
No Cyborg in this trailer. He played the race card too hard, and he erased himself from future work. For everything stupid that Ezra Miller has done, including impersonating Jesus, he had enough mental sanity to not bash Warner Brothers or top executives. Cavill was cut from the film completely, because of course he was. James Gunn is doing everything in his power to memory hold his dude for some reason. And it will only backfire on a grand scale if the new Superman movie isn't godlike. Like, literally, they would need to clone Christopher Reeves at this point to save it. Rumor has it that Gal Gadot will reprise her role as Wonder Woman, which may mean that the war between Themyscira and Atlantis could happen in the movie like the comic book. On second thought, it's obvious Zod's going to be the villain and the Kryptonians because nobody has any ideas, and it's probably much cheaper to work with this dude than do an all-out war between Atlantis and Themyscira and paying Gal Gadot to do a larger role with the dude who played Aquaman. You could also split hairs and maybe say that this is following the current storyline where Krypton is about to invade Earth and Flashpoint Earth Superman needs Flashpoint Earth Batman to fight to save Earth, but Flashpoint Batman wants to pretty much destroy their entire world. It's a whole thing. I think we also got a glimpse of Reverse Flash. He was in black rather than yellow, because of course he'd wear black. The last dude that wore yellow proudly was Bruce Lee. So I know I'm in trouble when I'm dealing with a dude who shows up to fight and he's rocking bright yellow colors. He wants you to see him. Frankly, James Gunn's leadership of the DCEU is already questionable. Warner Brothers bringing back Cavill for all but a week and then Gunn kicking him out? But keeping Ezra Miller and Margot Rubio's Harley Quinn, which bombed so badly they changed the name of the movie from Birds of Prey to Harley Quinn and the Birds of Prey, it did so poorly, The Rock's Black Adam did better. And that was enough of a failed experiment that Warner Brothers completely pulled the plug on the entire DCEU, which led to the decision in the direction we're already in. Someone at Warner Brothers is drinking stupid juice, if you ask me. Now that I think about it, the DCEU is as confusing as DC Comics itself is.
DC has rebooted its continuity several times, and what's interesting is seeing how the villains of the stories tend to represent the goals of the editors at the time. In Crisis on Infinite Earths, the Anti-Monitor wants to destroy the universes, and editors at the time wanted to kill off characters, cancel titles, and streamline their continuity. In the 90s, Zero Hour was a reboot that involved keeping the continuity for most titles, but rebooting others. And this time, we have Hal Jordan as Parallax as the villain, trying to remake the world the way he thinks it should be. These are apparently unintentional meta-commentaries on the editor's visions. Jeff Johns wrote Infinite Crisis, where previous alternate versions of Alexander Luthor, Superman, and Superboy felt the world was too dark and they needed to make it right. That seems to still be John's goal with Doomsday Clock.
I mean, with the way they handled the New 52, no one knew what the hell was going on. Some comics and characters just ended like a fart in the wind, or like there were continuity errors, like I think Batman's kid was 10 years old or something, but he hooked up with Talia al Ghul 5 years ago, so there was like this big time gap, you know, I'm just saying. So they're using the Flashpoint movie, or whatever this is, to reset to the original continuity. But after this, I'm certain the DCEU will still be a total mess. And if this new Superman film that Gunn is working on fails, I bet you they're gonna go into the direction of Crisis on Infinite Earths. Or something to that effect, and then bring Cavill back. I know it sounds dumb, but is it any less goofy than what's going on now? Most likely that could be one of the game plans. That's how they probably figure out how to bring back, you know, Cavill, Superman. And maybe he'll do some ultimate sacrifice, and then we'll end up with another goofy new Superman. And we'll have the black Superman. Like, I can already see how they could use this to turn it into something else goofy. It's just right there for the picking. All you have to do is take a good story and then completely screw it up. It's fantastic. I could be a Hollywood director now. That's it for me. I can honestly say, since I'm not invested in the DCEU, watching it burn doesn't bother me. So I'm like, I'm not that against the trailer, but I'm not chomping at the bit to see it. You know what I mean? I think like the problem with films today is stuff just comes out and you look at it and you go, well, it's there. It's like junk mail, except you have to pay to see it.